I feel like at the root of most curly girl contention is styling product selection. When I tell y'all I get more questions about what products to use, will these work in my hair, what's the difference between this and that? So in this video, I am going to give you a guide to styling products, what they do and what to look for. I always like to make sure that we touch and agree from the start. So let's get on the same page, Saints. There are thousands of products, but they generally fit into a few categories. Understanding this will help you narrow your focus. So let's talk about the main categories of styling products. Basically, anything you would use after you have shampooed and conditioned your hair. Leave-in conditioners are extensions of conditioners and treatments. They function like a conditioner that you don't rinse out. They can provide a range of benefits like softening, smoothing, detangling, and style prep, as well as protection from some environmental factors and structural damage. They come in two viscosity types, mainly liquid spray or creamy lotion. Which one you choose depends on what other products you intend to use and if they will play well together. Keep in mind, if you have used a treatment, you don't necessarily have to use a leave-in. You can go straight to your styling product of choice. Daily moisturizers and refresher sprays typically contain softening ingredients and are made with the intent to be used on dry hair. They can be helpful in restyling hair into a bun or updo by making the hair more pliable and easy to smooth. Depending on the product, you may experience buildup or stickiness, so these are a toss-up. If you like it, and if you don't need it. Lotions, creams, and butters are usually light hold, creamy textured stylers that provide softness, shine, flexibility, and definition on set styles, and usually can be used alone or as a base with another styler with more hold. These tend to be more forgiving for you heavy-handed dolls because they are less likely to flake after drying. Gels are products primarily formulated with xanthan gum or pectin as a thickening agent to keep the other ingredients together. Gels generally have low oil content and more quaternary compounds that help set a cast around the strands, which is why they can be more volatile than other stylers as far as flaking or residue if they are overused or combined with other stylers. Also, gels with high amounts of glycerin can be counterproductive to humidity control if you live in a humid climate. Puddings and custards are usually a combination of cream and gel. They will provide medium hold, definition, some humidity protection, and they are usually heavier because they have higher viscosity. These stylers generally work better alone for most hair types as they are already compensating for multiple categories in one product. Edge gels are thick, concentrated gels that are intended to give you the maximum amount of hold, making them popular for perimeter hair smoothing. They are best effective when applied to clean edges so that they can attach to the strands as intended. Oil or oily products will break up the formula and cause sticky residue or prevent them from molding the strands altogether. Foams or mousse, which is French for foam, have a lighter weight than gels, but perform much like them in the sense of giving hair hold and definition with low oil content. Their consistency makes them more optimal for buildable styling because they won't contain the compounds that cast and flake. Foams allow for more volume and faster dry times, but they may not hold as many days in high humidity. Holding sprays allow you to freeze hair in place, and they often provide some amount of humidity protection. This is a category most naturals don't engage often enough. Having a good holding spray on hand can make all the difference when you are stepping out on the town and wanting your hair to not drop and lose shape. Heat protectants are intended to wrap around strands and create a barrier between your hair and the styling tools you are intending to use. These products contain some form of silicone or silicone mimicking ingredient to block humidity, smooth the cuticle, and protect up to a certain temperature of direct heat from irons. Oil sheens and shine sprays are lightweight shine enhancers that are good for daily use as they will not cause extra weight in the strands as easily as serums or liquids. Oil serums or silk serums are slippery, smooth, jelly-like finishers that provide shine, smoothing for flyaways, and usually some amount of protection from heat styling, humidity, and environmental damage. These may include silicones as the protection element, but do not fear, silicones do not harm or alter the hair in any way. Silicones get a bad rep out here, but they actually protect hair and keep it from frizzing so easily. Many of them are actually conditioning agents, which is why you commonly see them in almost every product category. Silicones are water soluble, meaning when they come in contact with a cleansing agent like shampoo, they break apart and wash away. You can only get buildup from silicones if you aren't regularly shampooing your hair. Of course, there are many products that may not seemingly fit into one of these categories, but that's why we rely on product labels and information on brand websites to give us the details we need to make choices. Usually the name of the product will give some insight on its category. It will have words like gel, mousse, cream, butter, or pudding in the title. Or there is subtext that gives a short description or clarifying statement of what the product is. From there, you may see certain ingredient callouts. These are the ingredients that are more highly concentrated and considered active among the oils and butters and proteins in the formula. In general, the ingredients listed first are taking up more of the formula than the ones at the end of the list. The description on the packaging that tells you what the product aesthetically is aiming to do for your hair is the part of the label that is intended to romance and woo you and make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. The open jar symbol tells you how many months you have to use a product after opening before you should dispose of it. If the product doesn't have an open jar symbol, I would give it around 6 months just to be on the safe side. The most important part of the B side of the label is the instructions. Like I've said before, instructions are there to guide you toward the best outcome. When using something new, follow the instructions first before you start modifying the usage of the product so you can see what it really does for you. In my video, 5 Tips for a Successful Product Selection, I walk you through my process for vetting products and give you tips to get the best out of product testing on your hair. This video will save you a lot of time and grief if you are on a styling product pilgrimage. I will link this video below for you. In addition to the functional tips given in that video, here are 5 other things to know and consider. Number 1. Your texture or structural damage can impact definition. When you are trying to fit strands together in clumps in a wash and go, the more uniformity of pattern the strands have, the easier sections will clump together because they will sit into each other neatly. If you have varying shapes per strand, definition will not be as easily attainable unless you set the hair in a twister, braid out, a rod set, or maybe even finger coils. That is not something to be upset about. All texture is beautiful, and embracing what your hair does will lower your stress and make your routine so much more pleasurable. Structural damage interferes with definition because if the cuticle layer is frayed, it's not going to lie smoothly, so there's an appearance of puffiness or frizzing. Using an elasticity treatment weekly will help repair the cuticle in the sense of filling in holes in the strand with proteins it lacks so it can more efficiently trap moisture. And to be clear, because I hear these terms used wrong too often, repairing treatments with protein in the formula are not the same as protein treatments. These are not interchangeable terms, and I need you all to know the difference. Protein treatments are best used when there is chemical overprocessing, structural damage, or possibly damage from direct heat. If you do not have these issues, what you want is a treatment with protein in it, not a protein treatment. To be even clearer, all hair needs some amount of protein reinstalled in the hair at some point. Curly hair is always on the brink of breaking because every bend in the strand is a thinner point of the cuticle. You are not protein sensitive. Your hair is literally made of protein. What you don't need is an actual concentrated protein treatment. That is what you may be sensitive to. But regular maintenance of a weekly repairing treatment with protein in it is good because it's a minuscule amount in comparison to the water content. It's balanced, it's hydrolyzed. That's what's going to keep your hair from being frizzy and mushy. All right, number 2. Was your hair actually clean before you started? Applying products to hair that hasn't been cleansed of previous product can result in the performance of products being undesirable. Products designed for damp or wet application like to be applied to a clean surface. That's just what it is. Number 3, blot away excess product as you are setting your hair. If you can see it is not settling onto the strands, and that is going to dry in a clumpy, sticky cast and cause flaking or visible residue. Using more will not make the product work better. You are just overusing it and will be annoyed with how your style turns out. Number 4, sitting under a ceramic hooded dryer could make all the difference in how your products set. Air drying is fine if it works for you, and it does not require you to sleep with wet hair because that can cause scalp fungus and mold. The reason I would put clients under the dryer is because wet set products like to be dried in a reasonable amount of time without interference from humidity. If you live in a humid climate, your house is humid too. That means the water in the air around you is keeping the products wet longer than they'd like to be. So they will have a harder time settling around the strands, and you end up with more frizzing on the back end. Sitting under a hooded dryer will not only reduce the frizzing, it will also retain that stretch you like while your hair is wet instead of applying tension with pulling and banding after the fact. Number 5, products are not miracles. They are not magic. They are a combination of plant-derived and man-made ingredients. They work with the foundation they are given, meaning the health of your hair, how they are applied and combined, how they are set, how much weight your strands can hold, the environment and the water source you live in, and the lifestyle you live. I hope this video helps you more easily apply some logic, reason, and practicality to your styling product selection. If you are avoiding certain product categories or products because some chart told you to, I would strongly encourage you to abandon that and try different things if you aren't happy with the results you are currently getting. All product categories can be used on all hair types. It's a matter of if you like the result you get. Chemists can't single out a certain curl pattern or type when making formulas that only works on that hair type. That's just marketing. You will never know what works in your hair until you try it. Once you open your mind, stop being held hostage by reviews. Follow directions first, apply the information from this video and the product selection tutorial I am linking below. I just know y'all are gonna be product selection experts, and the hairstyling odds will forever be in your favor. You will find links to related posts and more info below or by visiting MoKnowsHair.com.